Unaangalia TBC1, ukweli na uhakika.
Hello and a warm welcome to TBC News, our top stories. All anti-malaria drugs free countrywide. Tanzanians in conflict-hit Sudan finally rescued. Good evening, I am Faida Ngaga. You can also follow us live via our YouTube channel, TBC Online. Also, get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook and Twitter pages at TBC Online. Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa has directed that all anti-malaria drugs to be given for free to patients in all hospitals in the country. Speaking during an occasion to mark the World Malaria Day held at the Mnazi Moja grounds in Dar es Salaam, he says the drugs include ALU, SP, special drug for women, the severe malaria injection, as well as malaria rapid diagnostic tests, MRDT.
Matumizi ya dawa za malaria bila kupima.
The use of malaria drugs without testing or without following the instruction of medical experts causes malaria parasite to develop resistance against the drug that will use. The community should follow the instruction of medical expert in the correct use that will be directed.
The minister has commended the regions that are on the forefront to fight malaria, which are Dar es Salaam, Manyara, Arusha, Kilimanjaro, Iringa, Songwe, Singida, and Dodoma. The motto of Malaria Day this year is Time to Deliver Zero Malaria, Invest, Innovate, Implement. Zero Malaria begins with me. In other news, at least 200 Tanzanians have been evacuated from Sudan, where fighting between Sudanese government troops and the rebels is taking place. Minister for Foreign Affairs and East African Cooperation, Dr. Stargomena Tax, says Tanzania has become the first country to take out its citizens from Sudan in a great number.
Tuhakikishie kwamba Watanzania wote wako salama, ambao waliokuwa huko, ambao walikuja.
Let me assure you that all Tanzanians who were there are safe. We started transporting them from yesterday. As I speak right now, they have already reached the border. We transported them through the Ethiopian border and they'll be brought to Tanzania by Air Tanzania. So the plane is already waiting for them and will bring them to the country immediately. I continue to pray to God to manage this exercise. And on behalf of all Tanzanians, I thank the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, for her great courage for managing tirelessly to make this exercise a success. It is not an easy exercise at all. Many countries are there, but only a few countries have been able to take their citizens. And the country that has taken many of its citizens is Tanzania. We have been able to take 200 citizens who include embassy staff and students who are there.
Fighting between Sudan government forces and rapid support forces erupted on the 15th this month, and it has caused the loss of 459 lives. Dr. Tax expresses her gratitude to all institutions that have collaborated with the ministry to make the rescue operation a success. The institutions include the President's Office, Tanzanian embassies in Sudan, Ethiopia and Egypt, as well as ATCL Airlines. In other news, the Deputy Minister for Information, Communication and Information Technology, Engineer Kundo Matthew, says the government continues to invest in IT systems advancing to identify all calls made and enabling the identification of those who commit crimes. He He made a statement in Parliament in Dodoma responding to questions by members of Parliament about the measures taken by the government to deal with cyber crimes. Here's a report by Renata Mzanje, read by Dilua Mohammed.
It's the 11th meeting of the 13th session during the questions and answers period, and among the issues that the parliamentarians are seeking clarifications on is about cyber crimes.
Serikali ina mkakati gani?
What is the government's strategy to strengthen the IT system and control the security of communication in the country?
Kuna utapeli wakiholela wakuongezewa.
There is arbitrary fraud in the country. You might be called by someone and tell you that you have been promoted. So what is the government's plan regarding this issue?
Njia za simu. Je, serikali ina mpango gani kuhusu swala hili?
Watu wanatapeliwa kwa namba za simu ambazo zimesajiliwa.
People are being scammed over the phone numbers that are registered, and this kind of theft on the phone networks happens on purpose between the mobile phone companies and fraudsters.
Serikali kwa kushirikiana na vyombo vya dola vinaendelea kuratibu.
The government, in collaboration with the police force, continue to coordinate and monitor all mobile phone usage trends, and those who are involved in fraud are arrested, and later we lock those phone numbers. At the same time, we continue to provide education to Tanzanians to understand when such calls are made to them, what step they can take by contacting the Telecommunications Authority in the country, TCRA. And from July 2022 until now, about 800,000 mobile phones were found to be doing things that are inappropriate.
And the question of amending the 1971 marriage law was raised.
Mchakato wa kukusanya maoni kwa ajili ya kurekebisha sheria ya ndoa umekamilika.
The process of gathering opinions for the marriage law has been completed, and tomorrow there will be the final conference to review those opinions, and after that the government will bring the bill to the parliament.
The parliament continues to discuss budget estimates of various ministries, whereby earlier today the Ministry of Constitution and Legal Affairs for the year 2023-2024 has been read and discussed.
Tanzania is expected to host the 7th Swahili International Tourism Expo from the 6th to the 8th of October this year, where more than 200 exhibitors of tourism products are expected to participate from over 50 countries. Apasia Ringo has more.
It is the launch of the Swahili International Tourism Expo site, which will involve domestic and international tour operators who will come together to do business and expand tourism networks. The Director General of the Tanzania Tourism Board, TTB, Damasi Mfugale, says the exhibition aims to promote various tourist attractions, investment, and provide a seminar on tourism and marketing issues, which will also provide an opportunity for tourism stakeholders to display products of tourism and creating more business networks.
This kind of fair is going to benefit a lot for the Tanzanian, because the objective is to bring the international tour operators, the international buyers to come to the country and just to get to know the country and also sell our country as a tourism destination to the world.
On their part, stakeholders of the tourism sector say the exhibition is an opportunity for Tanzanian business and investment.
And this is very important when we speak about payment systems. When you create ecosystems, you have to be able to enable the collecting agents, the paying master, and the tax collector to get their collection on time. And with this website, we should be able to digitize our payment and come up with a robust ecosystem payment, which will create seamless services to our tourism. But it is important to appreciate that is another milestone after Royal Tour, and this is what we need to encourage other stakeholders to be doing going forward.
It is an opportunity for the destination as a destination, because that we will meet international exhibitors, international agents, and they will be promoting Tanzania as a destination.
Since 2014, up to date, the exhibition has been able to increase the number of international exhibitors from 40 to 170, while international buyers have also increased from 24 to 333. Reporting from Dar es Salaam, Apasia Ringo, TBC News.
Now, to understand more on the Swahili International Tourism Expo, we are joined by Robert Masunya, who is the Public Relations and Communication Manager from Tanzania Tourist Board, TTB. Mr. Masunya, welcome.
Thank you.
So, what has been the impact of the past Swahili International Tourism Expo?
As you heard, and the way the DG, Director General, said, that, you know, this is Swahili International Expo started 2014. And during that time, it started by almost exhibitors 40, and then went up to 170. And then those buyers started from, as you heard, up to 330. So the uniqueness and the increase of number, when we sit and we realize today that when you increase the number of buyers, the most influential, the most important buyers is the way you increase the number of exhibitors. Because the exhibitors, most of the time, when they come to exhibition, means they come for the business of tourism. When they come to the business of tourism, means they need to meet with the buyers. Those buyers is the one attracts those people who are dealing with the business of seeking tourism or tourists to come to the country. So those buyers, most of the time they come for doing business. Those are outsiders who are coming to Tanzania while we are conducting this expo. Therefore, when we announce or when we promote that there are potential buyers who are coming to the country, it's whereby now exhibitors now, they come to meet with those buyers so as they can make business. Therefore, the increased number of potential buyers is the increase of number of exhibitors. And the vice versa is the increase of the number of tourists who are coming to the country. Because those people who are coming to do business means they negotiate, they make deals, and then they bring tourists. When they bring tourists, those exhibitors are the ones who are dealing with the market of tourists.
Okay.
Yes.
So what is the uniqueness now of this year's Expo?
This year we have tried to promote, to get very potential, not potential only, very potential buyers who will meet with those people of the country who are dealing with the business of tourism, especially those tour operators, etc. Therefore, when we get potential and very potential buyers, that's why I'm saying that's the uniqueness. And we have limited the number because we want to get the quality and very potential buyers.
So it's a matter of quality and not quantity.
Yes.
Okay, so this year's theme is Responsible Tourism for Inclusive Growth. Now, how has TTB and other partners planned? What's the plan in executing this theme in the Expo?
You know, we don't need only to have big number of tourists. We want all chain of business of tourism to make sure meets the standards. To meet the standards, it's very important, especially to the area where there is these destinations or attractions. We don't need to do business of tourism and then we affect the ecosystem. And we want this tourism business to be of high quality and to be sustainable to the country. So while doing this, we must make sure we meet with stakeholders, we engage stakeholders, private sector, to do business, while the government is there to monitor, to see, or to evaluate the way things is going on and to collect tax. But we make sure it is continuing business.
Sustainability is a very important aspect. Thank you very much, Mr. Masunya, and I hope you will get the target audience.
we are sure. We are sure. And we want to meet those visitors who are coming to visit. Last year, were almost 800, those who are coming to learn and see what is happening there. Now we are expecting maybe more than 1,000.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you.
Masunya. Now, from the tourism sector, let's head over to the health sector, where Muhimbili Orthopedic Institute MOI Executive Director Dr. Respicious Boniface says the presence of surgical experts for children suffering from scoliosis abnormality at the institute in the country has reduced costs to patients who had to travel abroad for treatment. The surgical experts are from the United States and Italy and have set up a one-week camp at MOI, also aiming to train further orthopedic doctors in the country.
If you look at the cost of this surgery, it is so high. In abroad, one patient will have to spend not less than 50 million. But you will see here the cost of all the equipment that is placed in the surgery. And the whole surgery process, it is only about 15 million. So you will see there is a saving of about 35 million. This is really to congratulate our government and the Madam President. It is a good collaboration, and this is impossible if the government does not have that goal. These are all things to be proud of our government.
Doctors from the United States and Italy have held cooperation and teamwork they have experienced since their arrival, hoping to improve health services in the country.
We are happy that we are supported by the administration, and we are having now doctors who will be the leaders in this service in the country.
Yesterday we have done the first operation, what was very success. The patient is standing without any problem, without any pain, so we are very, very satisfied of the result, and thank you to the MOI for inviting me again.
In the week ending of the 21st April 2023, liquidity on the share side has increased by 1.8 trillion Tanzanian shillings, which is an increase of 264% from 681 billion Tanzanian shillings in the week ending 14th April 2023 to 2.48 trillion Tanzanian shillings. The business development manager of the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange, Leonard Kameta, says this increment is due to the increase in the price of shares of CRDB, DSE, NMB, DCB, and Simba companies.
The companies that contribute the most on the sales are counters from CRDB, which contributed about 1.4 billion, that is 56.68%. NMB contributed about 847 million, that is 34.16%. Simba contributed about 89 million, that is 3.59%. We had Nicole that contributed about 68 million, which is 2.73%. DSE also contributed about 21 millions, that is 0.86, but also had Trigger, TICL, DCB, and other companies like Swissport and TIO that contributed on sales in that particular countries.
Other companies that had investment transactions are Swissport and Tanzania Oxygen Limited. In other news, a Vice-Chancellor at the National College of Tourism, Dr. Florian Mtei, says 59 years of the Union of Tanganyika and Zanzibar have significantly helped to expand the scope of the tourism sector in the country and facilitate the increase in government income. Emmanuel Samuel reports. And that item concludes local news. International news up next. Now let's have a look at international news.
A ceasefire in Sudan appears to be holding, although there have been reports of new gunfire shelling. The 72-hour truce has been agreed between the Sudan Army and the Paramilitary Rapid Support Forces RSF starting from Monday midnight. Both sides have confirmed they will cease hostilities. However, the Sudan's army and RSF accused each other of breaking the truce. There have been also reports of warplanes flying over Khartoum, and people continue to flee in the capital city of Khartoum and the town of Omdurman. More than 400 people have died and more than 3,000 injured in the conflict so far. Police in Kenya have exhumed more bodies of people believed to be followers of the controversial pastor Paul Mackenzie of Good News International Church. This brings to 89 the total number of bodies so far discovered in the shallow graves at Shakahola Forest, which has been declared a crime scene. Police also arrested 6 people, including a man suspected to be co-mastermind and Mackenzie's assistant pastor. The Kenya Red Cross Tracking Desk has reported 212 missing persons, but 2 were among those rescued. President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa says the governing African National Congress ANC party had resolved that South Africa should quit the International Criminal Court, which last month issued an arrest warrant against Russian President Vladimir Putin. Ramaphosa says the decision, which follows a weekend meeting of the ANC, was reached because of what is perceived as the court's unfair treatment of certain countries. In 2016, South Africa wanted to withdraw, but the country's court said the move was unconstitutional. The ICC issued an arrest warrant for President Vladimir Putin of Russia last month, and South Africa will be hosting BRICS meeting in August this year, inviting members of the bloc, including President Vladimir Putin. The warrant against Putin in March means South Africa would have to detain him on arrival. United States President Joe Biden has announced he will run for re-election in 2024. The Democrat has long signaled that he will seek for the second 4-year term and formally launched his campaign in a video. He says it was a pivotal movement with freedoms and rights under the threat, saying it is not a time to be complacent. Biden faced off against Donald Trump in 2020, defeating the Republican after promising to restore the soul of the United States. Trump has already launched his bid for the presidency, raising the prospect of rematch between the pair in 2024. U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris will once again be his running mate.
That was international news. Sports news up next. Now let's have a look at sports news with Mario Cheto.
Tanzania Women Handball National Team head coach Moshi Ali says African Handball Championship Zone 5 tournament taking place in Tanzania that has kicked off today will bring progress to the game in the country. Coach Ali adds that Tanzania Women Handball National Team players has had a very promising start in their opening match as they want to be the champion of the competition.
I have confidence with these women players since I stayed with them in camp for 4 weeks. I also ask Tanzanian handball fans to remove accent from this team and turn up in numbers to support them in matches. We wanted to see them coming to support them, hoping that they will do better in this competition.